Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the workshop. It is phenomenal to have you here because today's episode is sponsored by March of Empires. It is a massive multiplayer online strategy game for you to play, full of war, intrigue, and conquest. You can claim your title as Northern Tsar, Highland King, or Desert Sultan, and engage in tactical battles, organize with allies to form friendships, and unlock over 100 champions, each with the option to add over 400 add-ons to them to customize their performance however you see fit. And you can even embezzle some of those items with gemstones to imbue them with special powers. You can win unique equipment in the game, but you can also craft or reforge it yourself. And speaking of making things, today I am going to be making the Valdnir ring. The story goes a little bit like this. Long ago there was an emperor who had a favorite son that was his youngest son, so he didn't have a claim to the throne. But the emperor had heard of a ring that would imbue the owner with special powers. He sought it out, gave it to his youngest son, who killed his older siblings. That's kind of sad. But that's just how powerful the ring was. But when the son died, the Vikings stole the ring, and so we are gonna make it, and you have the chance to win the ring that we're gonna be making today in a sweepstakes that March of Empires is running. So the winner of that is gonna be getting this ring. You have between the 9th and the 15th of December to collect as many Valdnir rings as you can and craft your own. There's more info down below. But we're gonna get started making this ring. I've decided, because we've been playing around with stainless steel Damascus, we're gonna make this out of stainless steel Damascus so we can learn more about the process, improve, and test our abilities a little bit. And so without further ado, Will is gonna weld up a stack of stainless, throw it in the forge, start forging.
So now that we got that cleaned up, it's time to make our stack and then TIG weld a can around the outside. And in other news, I only slightly ground away part of my thumb in that grinding session, so we'll call it a win. But yeah, let's do some TIG welding.
Oh my goodness, Will, this stuff is looking great. How many layers is in each one of these pieces?
There's 17 layers in there right now, and so we're gonna stack it up, and obviously 4 pieces, so 4 times 17 might be 68.
It's good maths, impressive. It's looking great. What do you use a surface grinder on these?
We don't actually have a surface grinder because they take up so much space, but instead we have a surface grinding attachment for the 2x48 belt grinder, and you know, they might just be up for pre-order right now.
I think that's right. I think you can pre-order those bad boys. And in fact, I think they might even be shipping to Canada too.
Oh, that's too bad.
That's great, Will. Anyway, these are looking fantastic. And so the next step is we want to TIG weld all the way around this and get it forge welded back together before we make our Valdnir ring out of it.
It's TIG time.
By the time that's welded up, it's gonna need to go in the fire, so we might as well get it hot. You know what we forgot to get when you were near fire bricks? One day we will make forged doors. Today is not that day. Woohoo! got ourselves a problem. This was meant to be 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. It's turned into 5 pieces. See that right there? That is a big old crack right in the middle of one of our pieces of stainless Damascus. See here at the end? Another crack running down deep into it. Over here we have another crack too. It's crack city right here. It looks like the heat of welding, creating those heat affected zones, has just torn the stainless Damascus apart wherever it was weakest. So that's a real shame. It looks like we just had half of that billet was completely bad. It just looks like there was a crack running half the way down that billet. That's no good. So we've gone ahead and shown the crack to Will. What do you think, Will?
I think we should TIG weld around the outside and try to re-weld it together, because worst case scenario, we're wasting
25 minutes of time,
probably,
compared to just abandoning it right now.
Exactly, and wasting $30, $40 of material and 5 hours.
Okay. All right, as per Barefoot Forge's suggestion, I've let that thing soak in the forge for a really long time at temperature. Let's see if it sticks. So I've still been letting this soak for a really long time before hammering on it. Long soak times are apparently a good thing with stainless, so we're trying it. I feel like the next step is twisting. Yeah, baby! Okay, here we go! It really looks like it's tearing apart. Pretty nervous about this. It doesn't look very good in here. And it looks like that cracks that we had are just still maybe in the material. That's a shame. Let's keep twisting it and then see what happens when we forge on it again. Right, let's try forging on it. It just tore right open. No! Nope, not gonna buff out. That is definitely not buffing out. It is just completely torn open, completely open. There's nothing we can do with that. So we are now material-less. We no longer have the material we wanted to use. This could be cool though. This is titanium. I might live to regret this. We have 1 whole day to get this project finished. It would make no sense for me to pick something like a piece of titanium. But I think we're just picking a piece of titanium. Let's put this in the fire. Oh, what is wrong with me, Alec? I think that'll do. Alrighty. I am so thrilled to have forged some more titanium because it has reminded me what an absolute joy forging titanium is. It is just so squishy and amazing, and it's such a great surprise. So we're gonna be putting it in one of our Paragon heat treating ovens, so they are also a sponsor of the show. This is the 9-inch KM Pro. We're gonna shut it. And I have just Googled how to anneal 6Al4V titanium. That's the grade that I think we have. I bought this chunk on eBay. Great place to get titanium drops. And have plugged the oven in for a 1350 degree hold for 2 hours. And so, we're gonna start it. We're gonna let it sit at 1350 degrees for 2 hours. It can then furnace cool, and that is supposedly how you anneal titanium, but it's still titanium. So it's still gonna be a nightmare to work. That's all part of the fun, right? Making stuff, struggling with difficult materials to make cool things. Alrighty, it is the next morning. There is the titanium. Next up is a little bit of lathe work, but we should probably show you what the ring looks like first. Looks a little like this. Look at that, it's pretty cool looking. And it's actually kind of fortunate that we ended up using titanium because we're gonna be able to get some of these colors onto the piece. Those little purple bits, we're gonna be using some gemstones. The way that I'm gonna start tackling this is I'm gonna put our piece of titanium in the lathe, cut off some of the excess, and then start shaping the outside diameter before we start making a hole in it. And will this be my first time turning titanium? No? My second. I think my first time turning titanium was making the... What was it called? What was it called? Jamie, you're gonna remember what it's called because you have it. What's the name of that knife that I made? I made a little... I can't remember what it's called, but I've turned titanium once. So we'll be sure to learn a lot. Oh, that's the problem. It's loose in the chuck. This is next to impossible. This is an utter nightmare. Utter nightmare. I cannot cut this titanium for the life of me. And I'm getting extremely worried that I may not be able to make the ring out of this material at all. I'm gonna try seeing if changing out this insert helps. Okay, let's try it again. Yes! Yes, it was just a dull insert. Woo! Oh my goodness, that's scary. And there we go, look at that. Easy as can be, right? No, that was the most difficult material I have ever turned. I've gone through insert after insert after insert, and worst of all, through a mistake completely of my own by not allowing enough thickness for gemstones. The one that I parted off was actually the second ring blank. This was the first. That was scrap. But regardless, it's now time for us to go into the grinding room. I'm gonna take a Cubitron to 984F, 36 grit belt, and we're gonna rough down that egg shape that we need for the ring. Okay, we got the outside all ground up. It's now time to work on the inside before going back to the outside, because this is very rough. It's not smooth enough for a finger. This was the worst material I could have possibly chosen. First thing that I do when I lay this out, I touch a carbide graver to it, I chip the carbide graver. Then I'm trying to use burrs to remove background. I cannot use my carbide burrs on the titanium. We're now on diamond burrs, and I'm just regretting my choices. I should stick in my name. They don't say, hey, titanium, make something. They say, hey, steel, stick in your lane. Steel, stick in your lane. You don't know anything about titanium. Oakley-dokley. So, as you can see, we smoothed out the inside of the ring. We then proceeded to engrave some lines that we could use to then background remove. Tried using carbide burrs, didn't work. Then moved to diamond burrs, still a pain to do, but we got the background removed. I then stippled it so that we could get some contrast in there. I did that using a little needle point with the engraving handpiece, so we got a little extra contrast in the piece. There are two final elements that need to be included on this. Well, three, technically. One, the ring wants to look a little bit blue. Now, we wouldn't have been able to achieve that with the stainless Damascus, but since we're working with titanium, we can by heat bluing it. And then the other two elements are the purple. We want to get a little bit of a purple splash going on. You know, the hope was that we'd be able to put a garnet in there, but we're not gonna be able to put a very large garnet because it's still rather thin. And as you can tell, we don't have a lot of time. It's 6:30 at night, and we still have a long way to go. Fortunately though, I have an assistant who's gonna be helping me, and so all of the rest of the work in the episode is gonna be done by young Yogo Steele.
Thank you so much, Yogo. Okay, so we want some garnets in there. It's gonna be lovely, and I really trust that you're gonna do a good job. Titanium, it's a pain to work, but good luck, okay? Thank you. Yes. Good luck. Hang on, you're meant to be working, not lying down on the job.
Oh, you know what? I think that would do the job just marvelously. That's a very small little garnet, but I think we can just fit it in. I can't tell you how we did it, but we've only gone and done it. It's finished. I'm exhausted. This is awesome and extremely satisfying to see with the heat blue, two flush set garnets, some nice stippling. It looks really cool. It makes up for all the incredible struggle that trying to work the titanium gave me today. It was a nightmare, but we got it done. I'm very grateful to March of Empires for sponsoring this build and giving somebody the opportunity to win this very ring. You can find more information about the contest in the in-game newsfeed and social channels of the game. In the meanwhile, they've just released update 35 of March of Empires, and they've got all sorts of great wintry themed stuff, snowball events, the brand new Festive Village, a brand new Winter City skin for your castle, and more. Big thank you to March of Empires for sponsoring this build, this episode. Thank you guys for coming along. Titanium, I'm glad you're not my last name. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.